My name's David Benson. I have been running Benson Law Firm for more than 2 decades, and we do only bankruptcy. As a matter of fact, I'd like to share with you 9 things that we suggest people think about when considering bankruptcy. Yeah, some people may think there's a stigma around filing bankruptcy, that if you file, your life is ruined, it's over, you'll never be able to accomplish anything. But there are plenty of people in American history who have really struggled with debt and gone on to declare bankruptcy and done very well. For example, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Mark Twain, Walt Disney, Charles Goodyear, P.T. Barnum, Henry Hines, Milton Hershey, and Henry Ford all had serious debt problems and went on to be household names. So no need to be concerned that this is the end, because it's definitely not. Bankruptcy is not going to ruin your credit in the long run. A lot of people think that it's, once they declare bankruptcy, their life's over. That is definitely not the case. It will likely temporarily depress your credit score. However, you can raise that score pretty significantly within a year, as much as 100 points. In fact, I wrote a book on the subject entitled "The Storm Has Passed." All our clients get a free copy of that in order to guide them to building a better future. Don't worry that you have too much debt to file. That's not really a problem. In personal bankruptcy, you'll file either under Chapter 7, and if you're over the median, you file a Chapter 13. The Chapter 13 has some limits, but they're quite high. Chapter 7 has no limits. We had a client who had in excess of $2.2 million in debt. He got to discharge all of that. As a matter of fact, I've stayed in touch with him, and he just bought a house worth $1 million. So he's doing just fine. He got rid of all of his debt, and for most of our clients, that is a reality. They can shed all of their debt. A lot of people think that there's a debt limit when you file bankruptcy, and that you can only file bankruptcy on a certain amount of debt. That is not true. Don't worry about how much debt you have. That is irrelevant. You're going to be able to discharge it. Yes, there are some things that you shouldn't do. There are some things that you may think, well, since I'm filing bankruptcy, I might as well do these several things. But there are things you shouldn't do. For example, you should not max out your credit cards. That is a really bad idea. You shouldn't move money around. Moving money from here to there, can be a problem. You shouldn't pay back your family or friends debts that you owe them within the year before filing. You shouldn't deposit your paycheck to protect that money into somebody else's account, because that can actually result in that person losing the money that they have in their account. You shouldn't spend a recent tax refund on a luxury item. That's going to be a problem, and you may have to liquidate that item. You shouldn't put off filing your tax return. It's important to have your taxes up to date. You shouldn't pull out cash so you can have a little nest egg. Some folks, like to have a little money to gamble with, and that is not a good idea. It's better to leave your money in your accounts. You should also not fail to disclose assets. If you've got something that's expensive and you want to keep it, it's best to tell us about it and not to try to hide it. Also, you should tell us about all of your debts. You can't discharge your debts if you don't disclose them. And you shouldn't hide any legal claims that you may have that you haven't filed yet, but you're thinking, oh, maybe I got into a car accident a while ago, but maybe I should just sit on it for a while. Then after the bankruptcy, I can pursue it. That's going to be a problem. Likewise, any wrongful discharge case or any other case where you might get money should be disclosed, because we can protect a lot of those funds, but we have to know about it. One of the things that I hear a lot about is people concerned because they have a good job, they want to keep their job, and they're concerned that if they file bankruptcy, the boss is going to fire them. That doesn't happen, and if it does, it's a problem for the boss. There is a federal statute that prohibits bankruptcy discrimination, and most employers know about this, so they don't even think about firing somebody who's declared bankruptcy. They've seen it a lot, and they know that what their obligations are. I've only had one person who got fired, and this was many, many years ago, and we were ready to file suit against the employer for bankruptcy discrimination, and then she got a better job, so it didn't go any. So I've never had anybody lose a job and it be a problem. So your current employer may find out about it if you're in Chapter 13, because there is a wage order issued in those cases. But if you're under the median and you're filing Chapter 7, it's unlikely that your employer would find out about it. The median is the median income for a family size in this area. I mean, if you've read my first book, Battling Debt Anxiety, you will know that even I myself declared bankruptcy many, many years ago, but it is in my past, and nobody has found out about it until now, maybe. Friends or family have not discovered that I've filed. Only those people who've read my book would have discovered. So it's pretty safe. Okay, well, interestingly, a lot of people think that they'll be barred from getting a new car for quite a while because nobody will want to lend to them. And actually, it's quite the opposite. People who file Chapter 7 bankruptcy will invariably get flooded with offers for cars from dealers. And one of the reasons is because they become a really good risk at that point, because they're not going to be able to file another bankruptcy for 8 years. So for that period that they have the car, they're not going to be able to discharge that debt. And because of that, a lot of car lenders have said this is a really good market. So you will get barraged with offers for a new car. And let me tell you, in the more than 2 decades I've been working in this area, I have yet to have a client who didn't have transportation as a result of a bankruptcy. A lot of people think that a house is going to be out of reach for them because the bankruptcy is just going to make them, they're not going to be qualified for a long time, they assume. But the fact is that 2 years after you get your discharge, you can file an application for an FHA mortgage loan. And as long as you spend that 2 years working and saving money for a down payment and boosting your score, following my book advice, you should be able to get a mortgage. Yes, a lot of people are concerned about keeping their most treasured items, and for a lot of people that's their house, their home, where the kids grew up, and they're concerned that they won't be able to keep them. And as long as they're properly disclosed, there are exemptions for them, and in the vast majority of cases you can keep your house as long as the payments are current. And even if they aren't, there is a bankruptcy where we can catch up on the payments. Same with the vehicle. There's no reason that you should have to give up a house and a car in bankruptcy. There are a couple of exceptions when it comes to vehicles. Your jet skis, ATVs, small planes, All of those are going to need special treatment if you want to keep them. And so don't presume that you can keep all your vehicles. You certainly can keep your main mode of transportation, but there may be some other things that we'll have to talk about. You too can start a new chapter in your life by filing bankruptcy. If you want some further information on bankruptcy and what its effects are going to be for you, give us a call at 216-241-2510 or visit our website, bensonbankruptcyattorney.com.